y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Vocal Action Podcast, where community and culture collide. I'm your host, Rashana, and I have a very, very special guest to the podcast today, my cousin Jacoby. Yeah, Kobe.
Yo, what's up?
Yes. He's actually not new to the podcast because if you've had a chance to listen to episode 1, you will recognize his voice and his talent as the beat. So that first episode where you hear "Yeah, Kobe," and if you've had a chance to listen to the past episodes leading up to this one, the beat that you hear at the beginning and the end of the podcast for our intro and outro, that is all Jacoby Williams. So I'm really excited. I'm a little nervous because this is family. Uh, and I'm not sure what's going to come up from the conversation that we're having, but I definitely wanted to introduce you all to the person behind the beat. So welcome, Kobe.
Thank
Or
you.
Jacoby.
You.
Kobe or Kobe
Yeah,
or Jacoby.
you can just call me Jacoby because you've known me as that all my life. But to everyone else, yes, I
Call
go
you
by.
Jacoby?
Yeah, you can just call me Jacoby.
I do not call you Jacoby.
Oh, you don't?
No,
Oh, I
I
guess.
definitely just call you Kobe.
Oh, well then yeah. Matter of fact, you make a valid point. Let's go ahead and just to everyone, I'm Kobe. Nice to meet y'all.
Good. Welcome to the Vocal Action Podcast.
Thank you.
So, where are you now? You recently moved, made a big move.
Yes. So right now I'm currently in Hollywood, California.
Hey,
Yep. So I came out here to California to pursue my dream and my music career to continue keeping it going and try to get it started off to a strong start. And yeah, I just want to get this music career going. You know.
yeah, yeah. I see you're swaggy today. Looks like you have some Rashana client merch on,
Yes, I
right?
do. I do. Young Kings
Okay,
and
shout out to the
Queens.
Young Queens and
Yes.
King Scholar Program.
Yes.
One of our clients with Boston Public Schools after school program. I'm wearing a little family swag today. This is Vocal Action exclusive merch because I'm the only person that has it. So I'm a little professional at the top, definitely party at the bottom. So I'm gonna be careful with the screen here. But it says, "Tell me who I have to be to get reciprocity." And on the back, it actually has James Bowden Jr.'s name on the back, who is our cousin, who was murdered by the Boston police in 1970. And then it has Breonna Taylor, who we also know was murdered by police uh, recently. Today, we got some good news that the cops who murdered her were charged. So hopefully that goes through to conviction and they serve time. And I'm also pushing for the DA to get time as well. So we're both here, just represent some vocal action realness.
Yep.
And how is it in California? Because Kobe is from Boston. He's lived in Maryland. He lived in North Carolina. Now he's all the way on the opposite coast. How's it going out there?
Whew, it has been a transition already.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Definitely West Coast vibes are different than East Coast vibes.
Okay.
But I like it. Yeah, I like it. Everyone's very nice. Yeah, it's just like it's very like friendly, energetic atmosphere. So
Okay.
yeah, I really like Hollywood right now. Yep.
Speaking of swag, can people tell you're not from Cali?
Yeah, I don't know actually.
Okay.
Yeah, some people. One guy I actually met at the pool. He was like, "Oh, are you like from around here?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh, you seem like really cool. I thought you would be." And I was like, "No."
Oh, okay.
But for the most part, yeah, I think people can kind of recognize my East Coast. They're like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, when I say I'm from Boston or Greensboro or wherever I'm from
Okay.
at the
I'm about
time.
to say, where do you say you're from? When people
Yeah.
ask.
Usually I say like I'm from Boston, but I was raised in Greensboro.
Okay. You just totally skip Maryland. You're like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
skip.
Yeah, Maryland was a good time, but nah.
It was a good time, but a short time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, okay, okay. What are some things that that you miss about the East Coast?
Let's see what I miss about the East Coast. Well, I definitely miss my family.
Okay.
I'm already very homesick. Let me see
Because
what else.
is this your first time living away from home?
This is well,
Okay,
I studied at UNCSA School of the Arts,
okay.
Winston for my senior year. So I lived off campus then until COVID happened. But
Mhm.
yep, this is my first time away from the crib for a little minute. So it's definitely hard.
Okay.
Let
What's
me see.
hard about it?
I think it's hard just like having a bunch of resources and like people like to just reach out to. If I want to go out and do this, enjoy this with my friends, like I have people to reach out to. I have connections already for music, and like
Mhm.
it's just like a very familiar, just familiar territory. So,
Right.
you
And now
know,
you're starting over.
exactly. I'm starting over with literally one connection, my sister, who I'm staying with right now
Okay.
in Hollywood, and yeah, and just my personality. I just got to start from the bottom. Yep,
Mhm.
and
Started from the bottom.
exactly, truly. So, yep, that's been hard. Yep, it's also been kind of hard. Um, you know, looking for places and looking for
Yeah.
jobs because I still am like 20, so there's some like restrictions on certain things, and
Okay.
yeah, so it's like it's a little hard, but I'm up for the challenge.
Okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay, okay. So I want to ask you a question. So you said that you studied in
Yep.
college, right? And now you're living your dream. You are Gen Z. Tell us about your decision to decide to forego the formal university classroom for Life University.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I really so I think what quarantine has taught me is that like there's just so much world and just so much life out here. And like I feel like during quarantine, like, I just would hear about different people's stories, hear about like different people's own experiences and how they went about, just their transition from adolescence to like adulthood. And I feel like all my life I've kind of had like the idea and just the notion that it's just like, you just go through the steps, high school, get through
Mm-hmm.
college, and then you do what you want to do. But once quarantine started and I kind of was in the college scene for a little bit, I didn't feel like I was really getting uh like the most out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was really just wasting my time. I was very miserable,
Mm-hmm.
just all of like the depressed, just young, just what I'm saying. I was just going through it during that
Mm-hmm.
time, and I just felt like I needed to just try, just test the waters. Yeah, I feel like I needed to just get out here. I thought, I was very confident in my skills as a producer and as a drummer, and I'm also, very confident in like my personality and just like how I carry myself. So I just feel like uh, if I was given the opportunity, to just come out here and just see what I could do, I strongly believe and still to this day believe like, I can make something happen that college probably wouldn't do for me.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I'm young, and I always like I want to enjoy my 20s. I want to enjoy my youth. And in order for me to do that, I need to be like happy in my workplace. I need to be financially secure. So I just feel like this is just the perfect time to just like build my foundation as a musician, as a working musician. So that way, by the time I'm like 22, 23, I'm good. Like I'm been making music and working as a musician, making my income as a musician for a few years now. And now I can, travel and do this and do that, because of me being a musician. Like I know the opportunities that music can provide me. So I just want to build this foundation now while I'm young, go through this work, put in this work now while I'm young so I can enjoy it while I'm still young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I always say, you're gonna get the education regardless. Either you're gonna get in the classroom or or life is gonna teach you really quickly. And there's so much information out there that's free, whether that's LinkedIn classes or YouTube
Yep.
University, or, informational sessions that you might set up yourself with people in the industry, people that can guide you, teach you different things. It's not all curated and nicely packaged for you the way it is in college. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You have to really have that initiative and that drive to get that information to set yourself up. But it's not impossible. Plenty of people have done it and they've made it readily accessible, to those that want it. So I know you'll be successful. Are you nervous about that at all? Like, were you nervous like to make that decision?
Um, not really, no,
Hmm.
because I think throughout, uh, as soon as quarantine started, I don't know, like I think the gears already started going about just like what's next for me, outside of just college. So no, I mean, I didn't really. I've been like kind of thinking and getting in the headspace that like I was going to be leaving fairly soon, and
Hmm.
just going to try to get it on my own. So no, it hasn't really scared me. Um, yeah, no, I feel very
Yeah.
confident still. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also have I want to say I have a very, very supportive mother. So like she just makes it very easy on me to, just like go out here and just do what I want and try to, make my dreams come true because, at the end of the day, she's not going nowhere and she always lets me know, there's home back there, and it's like that's not what I would ideally not want to go back home, but I, I'm I'm very blessed to have like a good mother who like supports me and lets me just go out here and try new things, and won't just leave me stranded. Worst come to worst,
Mhm.
but no, I'm very excited. I'm very ready to take on the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You talked about pursuing happiness and you
hmm
said like you want to enjoy that. How would you define happiness at this point in your life at 20?
At 20,
Or can
I
you
feel
name
like,
some things that make you happy?
well, you know, we're only young for a very limited amount of time, and like working, paying the bills, like doing that's never going to go nowhere. Adulting is never going to go anywhere. So I want to make sure that like during my youth I'm like doing what I want to do. And that doesn't mean like I'm just out here like, partying or nothing. Not like do what I want to do in that sense, but do what I want to do, like, you know, use this time while I'm young to like build a foundation. So when I wake up for work every day, I'm actually doing something that I love. Like I don't, I see the adults around me, just the people around me who wake up and, they're not happy with what they're doing. They're going to work mad and
Yeah.
miserable. And like, what I'm saying? It's the 21st century. It's 2022. Like, I'm not trying to live like that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wake up and be happy doing exactly what I want to do every single day. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You had me thinking if that's how I wake up, I definitely don't wake up super excited. But but
Yes,
that is the goal,
it
as a
is.
working
Mhm.
entrepreneur. The goal is to be able to step out on my own at some point so that I do have that opportunity to wake
Exactly.
up and be happy, preferably waking up, in different countries or wherever I want to be, even if that's home, wherever, just
And
having
I'm glad.
to do
I'm
that.
very glad you just brought that up because traveling is something huge on my list of what I need to do. Everyone around you, my big cousin, all my siblings, like my mother, like everyone around me, they travel. Like, and
Yeah.
that's just something that I just, naturally was just gonna pick up and desire to do. Like, I just want to
Mhm.
travel. Recently, um, I went on with Vocal Action on a trip to Puerto Rico for my birthday back in March, and
How was that?
that trip was truly the best vacation of my life. So
Yeah, I had to ask you how it was because I didn't really see you the trip. So, like, how?
yeah,
Yeah, like,
we
how was
really
it?
You did not see me. It was excellent. Yes, it was so excellent, and just meeting people and
Mhm.
making memories. Like that's just what it's all about. That's really just what it's all about. And my goal is to be able to do that. My goal is to be able just to go to this country, and hopefully it will be because I'm doing music, which is what I love
Mhm.
to do. So it would just be, you know, the two in one perfect, just ideal lifestyle for me as a young man, just making music, getting paid for it, traveling, living my life. That's just my ideal perfect world right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think actually you are the same age as the movie Brown Sugar. I just saw on Instagram that
Really?
it celebrated 20 years this year, 20 years ago. Um, and one of the questions, the big question that they ask in the movie, Tay Diggs, I believe says it to Sanaa Lathan, but he says, "When did you first fall in love with hip hop?" And
Mm.
so you talk a lot about wanting to pursue your music. When do you remember the first time you fell in love with music?
Oh man, first time I fell in love with music for sure was at Grant AME Church in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh my gosh.
The, the drummer for more than 2 decades, Alvin Terry. There, that is where
Shout out to Mr.
my
Taylor.
yes, that is where my love for music definitely started.
And
And
what was it like? You just heard him playing, you saw him playing,
I
like
don't
what
know,
was
like, and it's actually so funny you asked that because I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, what was it about Mr. Terry? It was, I don't know
it?
if it was just like the way he played or like the feeling that, I don't know. I really don't. It was a collection of everything. It was like you could see the passion, you could see the love for it. It sounded amazing. Like, it's just, it was a whole performance. It was like a whole, I don't even know. I really don't. It was
Yeah,
every time I walked into Grant, it was just like the spotlight was just on him, and I'm just enjoying the show. Like, just
yeah,
I don't know. And I just want to. I don't know. I feel like as a drummer, I've always just wanted to like mimic that feeling that I got from watching him play. I want
uh-huh.
people to get that when they hear me play. But it definitely started in church. It definitely did.
Yeah, Mr. Terry was definitely cool. I remember
Yeah.
him growing up, it used to be Byron.
Mm,
Who is another member of our home church in Boston. And then Mr. Terry came, and I feel like Mr. Terry definitely brought a different level of skill,
hmm
a higher level of skill to the drums. And it always seems really cool.
hmm
Yeah, that's why I started playing the drums as well. Was just seeing Mr. Terry, and I've always wanted to play drums. I've always liked Sheila E. I've always liked percussion, and to this day, I feel like Grandma signed me up for piano classes, but that's just something I never wanted to play. So I did whatever the 3 or 4 months that whoever an anonymous donor paid for, and then I quit, and I was like, but I want to play the drums.
Yep.
And I went to Mr. Harris and I want to play the drums, and he started a drum program. But yeah, he was always really, really, really cool with the drums. And I remember that as well. Actually, let me step back because I'm saying it's Mr. Terry who I think Mr. Terry definitely helped, but actually the first person I remember seeing that made me want to play drums was our cousin Ricky. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah. He played the drums as a kid. We had a little band. We had a little family band.
yep.
I was a singer. I don't know how I was a singer, but maybe because I was only girl. I don't know. But uh, Ricky was our drummer. Josh was our rapper, and we had a little basement band.
That
And
is awesome.
uh,
That is so awesome.
yeah, I used to want to play the drums. That's so crazy that I remember that. I wonder if Uncle Ricky has our video that we made that time. We actually made.
Probably. I wonder if Ricky still plays.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I
Mm.
don't know. So, you saw that, and then when did you first start playing? I mean, I'm asking.
Uh,
I don't
well,
know.
I guess
I really don't
I
know.
guess I first started playing before because according to my mom, I was like always hitting on pots and pans, and I think I got my first pair of sticks at 1 or 2, one of them, and then our grandmother gave me my first drum set at 3. So it was kind of just like they kind of grew together. Like watching him play at church, me drumming, like it just all cultivated, together.
Right. That's
Yeah,
so funny. Sorry. We
it's
just
fine.
talked about Uncle Ricky, and he's like calling me right now. Like that's
That is hilarious.
yeah, kind of scary
That's
actually.
freaky.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because your first pair, Javon, your brother gave them to you, right? Javon gave them to you.
Did he? You
Yeah,
probably know better than me. I was only
He
one.
gave you your first pair. He gave you your first pair. Yeah, that was actually a passed down pair because I gave him those and he gave them to you.
All right, that makes
Yep,
sense because those
yep,
sticks are
yep.
very beat up.
Yep. And then it was I don't know if he gave you the pad, but it was like the pad that you could practice on.
The small
Yeah,
one.
the black and tan one or
Yeah.
whatever.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah, but
still
you're the
got my
only one that
plastic.
actually continued. I had a whole drum set and never even used it. My dad's probably still upset about that. Yeah, he bought me a whole drum set and I might have been like 14 or 15 and like that's what I wanted. I was like, I want a drum set. I want to play the drums and never even touched the drum set.
That's pitiful.
Yeah, you just like 14, 15, start getting into new things and new hobbies. You're
Forget the
like,
drum.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started playing
Hmm.
and then you now are making a career of that. Can you talk about the transition, I guess, because I know you've been trying to explain this to me, but the difference between, well, or the bridge. What is the bridge? You as a drummer, you're COBi the drummer, and
Hmm.
then you're COBi the producer?
Hmm. Well, I honestly, I
Or
guess
are you
if
just
we're gonna
like
go it like that, I would be like
Jacoby,
Jacoby
the
Williams.
musician?
Yep,
Like how,
Jacoby Williams, the musician, the personality, the man, and Kobe,
not
yeah,
the
Kobe,
man, the myth, the legend.
yes, the man, and
Okay.
Kobe, yeah, Kobe, and Kobe. That's definitely like my producer monogram, my producer
Okay.
tag, my producer thing, kind of like um Young Berg and Hitmaker. So it's like, Young Berg, the rapper, but he's also Hitmaker, the producer. So it's like,
Oh, that's the same person?
yeah, I just found that out too by my sister, like a few days ago. Yeah, but that's the same person.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
you're open for drumming, like to
for
to
everything.
to be a musician, and then you're also open to producing.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, what goes all into being a producer?
So producing is you have to understand how songs work. You have to understand structure. You need to understand how to compose music. And so,
Compose, like I'm
like
sitting here with my
as in,
lines and treble clef and bass clef, or
yes, not that explicitly like writing it on a sheet of
oh,
music paper,
okay.
but that idea of, this instrument is going to play these notes, this instrument is going to do that, just forming a whole symphony. That's
Mhm.
what it is with making beats. Because with producing and when I make my beats, like I make all my stuff from scratch, unless I'm like in the studio working with this producer or me and this producer are like actually like tapped in with each other and we like constantly are sending melodies and loops back and forth. Like unless it's that kind of relationship, I build all my stuff from scratch. So
Mhm.
um UNCSA was like real helpful in the sense of like doing symphony orchestras and
Mhm.
wind ensembles, like just seeing like how to put together um like an actual composition of music. So when it comes to like making my beats and stuff like that, I'm Jacoby the drummer when I, like for the beat that I gave you for the podcast or for vocal
Mhm.
action, it's like that beat has Jacoby the drummer, it has my live drums, what I
Yeah.
put on the drum set, but then, I'm also composing bass parts with synth parts with pads and little plucks and melody. Like it's just
Mhm.
composing a whole symphony. Just the mini version, the and
Yeah.
hip
Yeah.
hop the trap version, and jazz, the neo soul R&B. It could be like the jazz version. But it's all
Right.
the same thing, just composing, putting music together.
Yeah, let me clarify. Jacoby did not look. Now I'm calling you Jacoby. Maybe I do call you Jacoby.
You call me.
I feel like I call you both though. But Jacoby did not give me the beat. Okay, we paid for the beat. And I just want that clarification because he's a businessman. Okay, so if you hit him up and you want a beat, you will have to pay accordingly.
Yep.
Okay, yesterday's price is not today's price.
Price. Yep.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Okay, so you like create the symphony because you are a drummer. Do you start with the drums? Like, is that normally your bass?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, is it like you can hear the fan spinning and you're like walking, like, what is it? Like, what's your
So I'd say
like, how do
that's
you
hilarious.
start?
I'd say, every beat is different, but for most instances, I usually just start off with some sort of basic like lead or sound. I never start off with the drums. Drums is always the very last. Like when I do bass and drums are always the last two things I do,
Mm,
because I feel like those are the two that I like want to uh, pay the most attention to. Um, and those are the two that like in any song, like those are the two pieces of the song that like give me that feeling,
mm-hmm,
like listening in church, like, yeah, Mr. Terry, but like Ray Brown, the bass
mm-hmm.
player, you know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
without Ray Brown, there would be, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been that like feeling. So it's like bass and drums always come last. I always like just build some sort of melody, use some leads, some synths, like I mean, just whatever sounds like plug. Like I have a library full of sounds, so I'll just start off making melodies with those. Make one melody, get a different sound, maybe make a counter melody, get a different sound, just keep building, and then once everything's done, it's like, all right, now let's put a nice bass in, and you know, actually make like a solid, not just like a couple notes for the bass, but like a real solid bass, like as if someone was actually playing it, and then you add the
Mm-hmm.
live drums at the end. So, and then if I don't do live drums or bass, then I'll just add like 808s and
Mm-hmm.
snare and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's definitely melody first. That's what I always do.
Okay. And what would you say like your style is? Or is there a style, or I mean, do people, yeah, do producers have styles? Or I watch TV
Hmm.
clearly. I mean,
Hmm.
okay, I know how that came out. Did not come out. I watch TV. It was like an impulse, like I watch TV. Uh, but when I'm watching television shows, I hear artists saying, I really wanted to work with this producer specifically
Hmm.
because this, they have this, their sound is like this, or they have access to whatever. So, do producers have sounds, or I guess that's what I'm asking. Like, is it is like a style, or like
I think
what is it?
uh so, and also I just want to say this just to everyone watching. I have been only producing for about a year. So I'm still a student of the game, still just learning
Mm-hmm.
everything. But I think producers, all the best producers that I know, the producers that I look up to, they have style. Like sound, I mean, you can create a bunch of sounds, but at the same time there's only so many sounds, you know what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
not like this person is going to have this distinct sound that like no other musician is going to have. Like, as musicians, it's just interactive. We
Mm-hmm.
all pluck from the same field, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there's not really like a different sound, like actually the note, like a sound, but in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like their style, in terms of like what sounds they use and how they use them, how often they use them, like um the purpose of using some of their sounds, like that all builds style. And I
Yeah.
think the best producers have style. They have a certain style, like about their music. Like me, for example, as a hip hop producer, like my hip hop beats and stuff, and the stuff that you'll hear most like on my Instagram with rappers, I feel I have my own style, because I use distinct sounds and use them in a way that's not like really being used. Like
How would you
there's
describe your style?
there are certain, I guess my style would be like electronic trap,
Mm-hmm.
sort
Okay.
of. I think I use like I love synths. I love synths. I love like horns. Like I love really big sounds. I love like
Mm-hmm.
orchestra sounds. Like I love just a
Mm,
full sound. So when I use like certain synths and stuff like that, like on other songs, you may hear it like a quick, you hear it in this part, or just like a quick little 3 seconds where you hear like this chord progression with this synth. But like I use certain sounds like repeatedly. I love chords. I love synth chords. You don't really hear that.
do
So
you
like
think that comes from your like training and background and being a musician first before like and I'm or instrumentalist? I don't know if I'm using the right words, but actually like playing an instrument
I
um
think I think the way
before deciding to go into production?
yeah, I would say that the way like my beats are structured and the way they like flow, that's where you can kind of hear the training, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not like, it just goes like a beat will just go from here and then just go straight to there. Like it all sounds like one
Mm-hmm.
fleshed out composition. I think that's where you can hear the training. But in terms of like, the sounds that I like to use and just like that type of stuff, just in terms of like my style outside of like actually structuring the song, but
Right.
like my sounds and stuff that I use, that's really just because I like it. And
Yeah.
the producers that I like first was making music with when I first started producing, and I still work with them now. They're the two producers I look up to. But I think that like working with them and listening to a lot of music that they would listen to, that
Mm-hmm.
I think I just started like picking up liking that vibe. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm incorporating a little bit of that vibe with like my own classical ear,
Yeah.
jazz ear, like, so it's just meshing a whole bunch of elements. Yeah.
Do you ever feel pressured like um to alter or create sounds for the time? For example, it seems like you with the release of Drake's album and now Beyonce's album that we're gonna move more into like a house
Hmm.
70s vibe.
Hmm.
As a producer, how do you balance that? Because I would imagine you have to somewhat ride a wave,
Hmm.
right? Because you want to get paid, people
Hmm.
want to be current, but then you also want to be yourself and
Hmm.
express your own style and for people to utilize that. Like how do you think you're going to find that balance? Because I know you're new to this.
I think it's going to be very easy for me to find that balance, and the reason
Mhm,
I say that is because in any field, especially in entertainment and in music, like innovation is everything. And
mhm,
so like, like how you said, you always want to like know what's popping, what's relevant, what's current. But like the reason stuff becomes popping is because it wasn't popping. You know what I'm saying? Like someone, or someone made it popping. Someone, put out a dope track using this type of genre, this
mhm.
sound, and it's like that's now what made it popping. But it didn't start off popping. Like we didn't hear a lot of, like, I haven't listened to house music since I lived in Maryland, and we was just talking about Maryland in this podcast. Like that was a very long time ago. So it's
That
like
you totally skipped over.
honestly, like, honestly, but it's like the fact that Drake brought it back, like when he first dropped that album, I was so in love with it because it's like, wow, I forgot about how like amazing house music is, and he put his own spin on it. But it's like people weren't eating up that album at
I'm
first.
not. I'm
Yeah,
still not.
yeah, I love it, but it's like a lot of people don't really like it.
And
But
please don't shoot me. I'm
oh
also
no, no, no,
I know not you, but I'm talking about people that are listening and watching. I'm just not a Drake fan.
yeah.
Period. The yeah, there's I enjoy his music when it's played, so I'm not like, oh my gosh, turn it off. Even though that is how I felt about this last album. But I'm not I don't like if you ask me to quote Drake lyrics and stuff like that, I don't know. And I've never been like that. Even when he first came out, it's not I don't know. I don't know why I don't vibe with Drake. I'm probably 1% of the population that does not, and I'm okay with
Sweet.
being a part of the 1% for that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I love Drake. He's dope, but I don't listen to him like on repeat. I can't. But
Yeah. I also think sometimes it's difficult because you don't want to be oversaturated, and Drake sometimes can come up. Not,
exactly.
let me not say Drake because I don't think it's him as a person, but I think his music, it feels like an oversaturation because you're listening to it now. It's all on TikTok. It's on everyone's Instagram. Every post comment, they're quoting Drake. So it's just like you just can't escape it. You can't escape it in that sense. But to your point, I do think that and one thing that I do think it's good that you're remaining open to developing your own style because we talk and I always say to like what I think is different and what I think about you and what you have in you is the fact that you've been exposed to so many different types of music, whether it's from your training, whether it's from like growing up in an American household with like four generations, or I guess five really, like you've experienced everything from jazz and blues to gospel to oldies but goodies to funk to hip hop to indie soul, neo soul, like Caribbean music, like you just have all of those sounds within you. Like you've been able, if you think about like grandma's one generation, and then my mom is another generation, and then your mom is another generation, then I'm the next generation after your mom, and then you have like you and your brother, like that's five generations, and you've been able to really like experience all of that. um I just think you have so much to pull from. And then whatever you didn't get in the house, now you also were exposed by being a drummer, being a musician, being a part of these musical programs. So I think you have a lot to offer in terms of sound, and I believe you'll have a wide range of material to be able to offer people because you can go in and out of these genres. And now where you have traditionally even like American artists uh dabbling and utilizing a lot more of these global beats, even house, like wow, people like, oh, unless you lived in New York or Jersey or Maryland, like you may not have known house, but the whole world actually knows house. It's not something that was universally Black hip hop, I guess, in that sense, Afro beats, like pulling that, even the fact that we call it Afro beats, even though there's been Afro beats forever, like, but it wasn't mainstream hip hop. And we know hip hop is a huge driver of Black culture, but also just global culture. You having that ability to pull from all of those things globally, and those sounds will make a difference. I do have two more questions for you. The first one is, and I hear you asked if this is gonna be like a Breakfast Club type thing. So I have a Breakfast Club question. Who is on your Mount Rushmore? And it's four people. Okay. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of producers?
Oh, oh my
You
God!
mentioned earlier, that you got producers you look up to. So top four.
All right, top four producers all time, all walks
All
of
time right now. All time right now. Because when I interview you and the next year where you're at a different level, you might change your Rushmore, and that's fine.
Okay. Well, right now,
Which is all time for you. Because I mean,
all time for me, I'd say got to go with Pharrell Williams, of course.
Okay.
Quincy.
Uh-huh.
Maybe Calvin Harris.
Okay.
Maybe Calvin Harris / Diplo. We'll put that as like one. And then, okay, no, we can't.
You can do that. Four people.
Yeah. Oh, you okay? So 4 people.
Four. So you got Pharrell, Quincy.
Yeah. let me see. We got Pharrell, Quincy. I'd say Tyler, the Creator, right now.
Okay, he's on your Rushmore. Yep.
Yep. And yeah, I'll just go with Calvin Harris for now.
Okay, I'm about to say, dang, both of them get booted out. Like,
Yeah, I'll just say Calvin Harris for now. For
okay,
now. So that'll be my list for now. Yep.
okay, okay. I think that's a good list. I like that you have Tyler the Great on there.
Yep.
Because I think,
The
especially
great
for
one.
your generation, like that is someone
Legend.
that would definitely be on the Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
And as you are going to be on someone else's Rushmore, at some point, what is next for you?
What is next for me? I am going to be showing my face everywhere. That's next for me. Next for me,
Mhm.
you're gonna be seeing, me just trying to reach out and work with everyone. I
Okay.
mean, right now, like, um, okay, so let me not just say that broad of a statement, but for right now, what's next? Let's see. I've made a great connection already since I'm out here. One of my favorite hip hop producers. Me and him actually were in the studio for like 7 hours, and yeah, he likes me. He likes my sound. I'm actually going to be probably going back there tonight or tomorrow.
Good.
But
Good.
um,
Can we
you
get an
know,
exclusive? Like, can you tell us who it is, or it has to be under wraps?
oh no, so it's his name is Chase the Money. Um,
Okay. Shout
he's
out to Chase the Money.
Chase the Money. He produced the song "Faucet Failure" by Ski Mask, which is like Ski Mask's biggest song.
Uh-huh.
He also like co-produced, I think, "Walk Through" by Rich Homie Quan. So he's a huge
That
producer.
uh
Amazon,
I walked through.
yeah, I
Okay.
think yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't know.
at least the plaque was in his studio. I think he co-produced it.
Mhm.
But yeah, but it was just crazy because when I saw him, I just like randomly saw him on like Hollywood Boulevard and just went up to him, just told him, what's up, young producer, just all that.
Good.
Look at my beats, and the rest is history. So, and hopefully, me and him will keep working. But just in terms of like me just going out there, just talking to anyone, just meeting, networking, like that's what's next. Just doing that times 100,000. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm excited for you to do that on 1000.
Yes. And
Thank
also,
you.
y'all
Yes.
pray for me because I just had a few little managerial job interviews this past week, and I've also been looking at a few cribs. So
All right.
y'all
All
can
right.
pray
All
for me
right.
this that something will work out and I can continue to stay out here in Hollywood.
Yes, yes. Your boy is employable. Okay. For those of
Yep.
y'all watching, this is an interview, but also, you can look at this and find him because he's looking for a
Yes.
job. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, thank
Um,
you so much, COBi, for coming on the Vocal Action Podcast. It's
thank
been
you for
great
having me.
it's been great to talk to you, to catch up, because you don't answer or call me anymore. I'm no longer the cool cousin, apparently. But that's okay. If I have to invite you to the podcast to catch up with you, then that's what I'll do.
Yes, thank you. I will
Uh,
do better. I need to reach out to everybody way more. I've been like very ghost. I need to reach out to everyone.
Yes, yes, yes. But you grinding, you hustling. That's what happens, So we all get it. Thank you to all of you all that are watching and listening. This has been another episode of the Vocal Action Podcast. I'm your host, Rashana Roach, the global strategy and social impact leader and around the way girl going around the world. I'm testing out all of these closings, by the way. So you all let me know which one you like, okay? So that I know what I need to say. But we will see you next time on another episode of the Vocal Action Podcast. Peace.